All right, and so welcome everybody. We've been having a nice pre-meeting chat. We've got about 27 people online tonight. Probably one or two people that went to the Bowen tonight and trying to get in but can't. This should be the only month this year that we'll have to meet on Zoom and not in person. Uh, they had some event going on tonight, so we had to meet. We had to meet on Zoom. All right, can everybody hear me? Because Dick can't. Dick Snelk isn't able to hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Dick, it might be your computer. But anyways, we've got it should be a good, fun meeting tonight. We've got our editing challenge, our annual editing challenge. We had, I think, 14 entries in that. Really nice entries. And something new we're doing this year is we're giving out a prize to the winner, and we'll go over that as we get to it. So let's go ahead and get the slideshow started. All right. So as usual, we'll talk business. We'll talk about some of our upcoming events. Instead of a speaker this month, we're going to be doing our editing challenge. And then we have our monthly photo challenge. So as usual, I'd like to talk about becoming a paid member for the club. If you're a paid member, you get some extra benefits, such as our recent overnight trip to St. Augustine that we did with the Cobb Photographic Society. That was a really fun trip. Glad I was able to go, and sorry that everybody couldn't make it, but that's one of the benefits. Workshops, our picnic and Christmas dinner. But all the profit that we make for through club dues go to support the club. It pays expenses such as rent for the Bowen, the equipment, events, Zoom fees, the fees for sending out emails, our bank account. So if you become a paid member, in addition to getting extra benefits, you're also helping to support the club. If you want to become a paid member or learn more about it, the details are at northgeorgiaphotographyclub.com. And one of the things we're doing slightly new this year is trying, because we want to be as open to everybody, because this is not my club, it's our club. We currently have, I looked it up, we currently have $7,600 in the bank. So, you know, we're definitely spending it on stuff for the club. We're going to be spending some on a lawyer. Dick's going to tell you about that in a minute if he's able to hear us and can talk. Yeah, so if you want to support the club, pay your dues. So Dick, are you able to hear us now? Are you able to talk? I'm going to take that as a no. So anyways, Dick has been handling this. As most of you know, we're in the process of becoming incorporated. Our club has just gotten too big to not do that. We pretty much have the bylaws written. They've been signed by our board of directors, approved by our board of directors. What we're going to do now, just to make sure we're doing everything correctly, Dick is going to be taking the bylaws to a lawyer to go through, make sure that everything is kosher, everything is just as it should be, and then see if there's anything we've left out. We don't know how much the lawyer is going to cost, but we have enough money to cover that. It's a good expense. The club, as a business, we're going to be based out of Dawsonville, and we just got to have a few bits of just legal advice, but we should have that done hopefully in the next month or so, and then we're going to start, you know, we're gonna actually have elections in the fall for next year for the different offices like president, vice president, and so on. We also need a full-time treasurer, so anybody who's interested, speak to me or to Dick and let me know. Barry is telling me the link doesn't work.
Mike,
Yeah,
so I finally got on.
all right.
Zoom made me update before I could join the meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, Zoom
okay.
is funny.
Maybe that's what the issue was. Somebody else told me the same thing. Would somebody be able, somebody who is friends on Facebook with Barry Smith, send him the link. He says the link's not working. Dick, did you hear anything I said about the incorporation?
I did. I heard most of it.
All right. Did I say everything correctly?
Yeah, I wasn't really going to take the bylaws to the lawyer. What I really wanted the lawyer to help me out with, and he failed. I got to find a better lawyer.
Mhm.
The distinction between one's business address and the address of the registered agent. In the Secretary of State's office material, it says specifically that the registered agent must be at your business address.
Oh, shit. That's not-
Yeah. and I don't believe that's true, but I got to get a legal reading to sort that out. Your mailing address and your business address could be different, but it's very clear in that document from the Secretary of State's office, so it bothers me. That's my current hangup. Other than if I had that question answered, I'd be ready to go.
So yeah, so we should be just hopefully have that ready to go soon. So, but it's looking good. We've been working on this for almost a year now. Dick has done, I would say, 90% of the work, and we're very appreciative of that. It's something we've needed to do for a while. So thank you, Dick.
Welcome.
I shot Barry the link for the meeting.
Somebody get Barry online.
I just shot him the link.
Okay. So we've got a couple of field trips coming up. On May 27th, we have Zoo Atlanta that we're doing with the Cobb Photography Society. And then June 3rd, we're doing the Helen Balloon Festival that Cobb is doing with us. So Rick, I'll let you tell us a little bit about the zoo trip, and then we'll let Dick talk about the Helen Balloon Festival.
Yeah, the only thing really about the zoo trip, it's a week from Saturday, right? The 27th is you should be there at 9 o'clock. That's the plan for everybody to meet. Best way to do that is to buy your tickets online in advance so you can buy that time slot, and then we'll all show up there and enter together. And no plan beyond that. Pat will probably want to do lunch or something, and some folks will do that and some won't. Then Helen and Anna Ruby, I'll let Dick talk about that.
Did we lose you, Dick?
Dick, you there?
Nope, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I didn't
was
hear
gonna
what the.
Oh, we're gonna let you talk about the Helen Balloon Festival on June 3rd.
Okay, so the thing about the Helen Balloon trip is that the event itself covers 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The race start is Thursday morning. If you really want that, then you got to show up Thursday morning. But there are balloon launches, weather permitting, every morning: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm going to create 2 different events, one for Thursday morning, one for Saturday morning, just so people are clear that the race start is Thursday morning, just general balloon rides is Saturday morning. There is a charge for parking. I think it's $5. At least it has been the last couple of years. You need to be there more or less about 6:30. And I will post on the website, on the Facebook page, excuse me, the link to the official race website so you can get their updates on what's going on. Most years, The pilots meeting is at 6:45. That's when they actually decide whether or not they're going to fly. Before that, it's unclear. So this is a bit of a crapshoot. You got to show up. You may or may not get to photograph balloons in flight. It pays you money and takes your chances. But even if they don't fly, they will set them up and inflate them and run them up on a tethered rope for 50 feet or so anyway. So there's always photographic opportunities. And as they're doing that setup and so forth, you are allowed to wander in among the balloons. So you can go, look over the fellow's shoulder as he's blowing the burner up into the balloon to inflate it and get a picture of that, if that's what you want. Anyway, great photographic opportunities. It is early in the morning. Nothing I can do about that. And some years afterwards, there has been breakfast at the Huddle House and then a trip up to Anaruby Falls on Saturday morning to make it more than just a one-shot deal. Anyway, I will be posting details shortly. I've had a wild week, haven't had a chance to do it, but I will post all those details shortly.
All right, thank you. And Anaruby, we may or may not do it. It's up to you. We've done it a couple times. Huddle House depends upon how hungry people are. It was fun a couple years ago. We took Helen and Alex to Huddle House for the very first time. For those who don't know them, they are great members of the club, but they are from Britain, and that was their first ever trip to Huddle House. I think for Helen, it's also her last trip to Huddle House. But the rest of us kind of grew up with that in Waffle House. So, yeah, that's always a fun day, and but we'll see how it goes, and just watch the weather, because we had one year that it had rained so much the field was flooded, but they did go ahead and inflate some of the balloons in a different location. So we'll keep you posted, but Dick will get that stuff posted during the week. Workshops. Timmy was unable to make the meeting tonight. She's got school activities tonight with graduation and everything. We don't have any current workshops scheduled, but we are working on some. I mentioned to people who joined before the meeting, we're looking at doing something with the Milky Way, possibly at the Iron Horse in Greene County, and with an actual trainer there, who's actually kind of well known, but I don't want to say anything till we have that planned. We're also looking for people who might want to lead a photo walk in some part of town, whether it's in Atlanta, Athens, Roswell, Dawsonville, whatever, but just to do some street photography. And if there's anybody else who wants to volunteer to lead a workshop, any kind of workshop, whether it's tips or portrait photography, lighting, water drops, just contact me, contact Timmy. We'll get it started. If you know someone who would be good, get us their contact information and we'll get in touch with them. But you should be seeing some more workshops the second half of the year than you did the first half of the year now, especially with Timmy with school ending. She's going to have time to work on that. Last thing I have about events is the Nature's Generosity Traveling Exhibition. That's with the Wilderness Photography Foundation. We have 6 members who have images in this exhibition. It's traveling to, I don't know, maybe 8 different facilities around the South, most in Georgia. I think there's going to be 1 in Tennessee, 1 in Florida. It's going to be a traveling exhibit for the next year and a half. Right now it's at Fernbank. Its second stop is going to be at the Bowen on July 1st. So that's our home territory. So I'm hoping we can have a large contingent of people attend the opening on July 1st. And even if you can't make it on July 1st, during the month that it's at the Bowen, I hope everybody will come to see it, not just for our photos, but also for the other photos that are in there. Let's see here. All right. Checking out the chats. We're still talking about getting people using the link. All right, so tonight, instead of doing a guest presentation, we are doing our monthly challenge. I mean, our editing challenge. So what this entails, we had one member provide a raw image. That's Tony Blackwell. He provided a raw image, which I'll show on the next slide. And we posted it on Facebook, sent a link out, and the goal is to edit that image however you want. There are no rules with the editing challenge. We're not strict like we are with our monthly challenge. Composites are fine. Do whatever you want with it. You know, some people go and attempt to edit it like they would if there was their own picture. Others go crazy with it, and that's fine. This year, what we are doing different though, since Tony shared his image, he also wanted to give away a prize. And he has picked a winner, which we will announce after we see everybody's images. But what he is giving away is a slightly used Wacom, I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, a Wacom Intuos Pro small Bluetooth graphic tablet. It's easy for me to say. So anyways, Tony, are you online, I hope? Well, it's not going to be as good if Tony's not online. Anyways,
on?
there you go. Is that Tony?
Okay. Yeah, my microphone was muted. I thought it was
Okay.
on.
Tell folks about the prize real quick, because I know I didn't do a good job. What is the prize?
It's a Wacom Intuos graphics tablets. It's a small professional. It's Bluetooth. You can use it wirelessly or you can plug it in. It has the original box. I bought it mainly for travel use, and I just didn't find myself. I think I used it one time, and it's been in the box. And I saw it one day, and with eBay's new policies, I decided, you know what, it wasn't worth it. I'm just going to give it to somebody. So that's why I offered it up.
All right, so we've got a well, not me. I had nothing to do with the winner. I showed Tony the images before the meeting, and he picked a winning image. We did it blindly, so he doesn't know who the winner is. I didn't even tell him whose image he selected. And at the end, we'll announce who that winner is. So real quick, before I start showing some of the edited images, Tony, tell us about this photo, where you took it, and any challenges you might have had.
The only challenge I had was I fell in the creek, because I tell you, rocks move when you least expect them to. They'll tumble on you. But I got up there that morning. This is one of the upper falls on Blood Mountain Creek. I think there's two more above this one. It's not a difficult hike. You have to cross the creek a few times. When I say cross, I mean ford. I did get soaking wet, because right after this image was captured, it came down on me. I had to walk. It's probably about 1.5 miles back to the truck. So, and it was dark like it looks in this raw image. It was pretty dark that day because it was completely overcast, but it was not supposed to rain, but it did.
The funds of being outside. All right.
Excuse me?
So we will start with the first edited image, and I always go first. So what I did, and then the goal again, as we go through everybody's images, is just tell us how you edited your image, what you did. And with the new masking in Lightroom, I've been doing a lot of stuff with the masking and using local adjustments. So I kind of edited this differently than the way I usually edit things. So I did it completely in Lightroom. The first thing I did is I changed the profile to Adobe Landscape. I have a preset that I've made with the calibration sliders to make the colors pop. So I did that. I played around a little bit with the tone curve. I adjusted the blacks and whites. Then I did some masking on the water. I desaturated the water a little bit to make it wider so it wouldn't really have that blue tint to it. I increased the texture and clarity in the water. And I decreased the dehaze just to make it just a little bit more wider. I then inverted the mask so that everything I did would only affect the background. And when I inverted the mask, I lifted the shadows a little bit more to bring out some details in the rocks. Then I did a couple of global edits. I increased the vibrance on the entire image. I did a linear gradient from the top of the image and decreased the clarity and the contrast just at the top of the image. Then I played with the color grading to increase the luminance of the midtones. And then I played with the HSL sliders. I increased the luminance of the green and the yellow, and I decreased the blue saturation a little bit more. And then the last thing I did is I added a slight vignette. So it's a lot different than what I described in last year's edits, but it's fun playing with all that stuff. All right, next is Patrick. Patrick. I know he's on here.
Oops, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So this one you want to hold about 3 feet away from your eyes. I just took what we learned from Brick last month with the motion blur and did various angles with that. And then on the rock itself, I used the paint feature. And then when I got it all done, it looked kind of harsh. So I added a slight Gaussian blur to it. I did flip the image to the opposite side so that the water was coming down from the top right. But like I said, again, if you hold it like 3 or 4 feet away from your eyes, it looks okay.
So everybody's rolling away from their computers right now to see.
Patrick, that and a couple of beers, would that help too?
Yes, yes.
No, I love it.
All right. Richard Sidwell, are you on?
Yes, I am. Hey, all.
Hey, Richard. So tell us about your edit.
So I did this as if it was mine. I've been playing with Lightroom a lot too, mostly masks. So what I did, you can see I cropped in a little bit. And then the main thing I was doing was using some radial and linear gradient masks to tweak the exposure from front to foreground to background. So I was bringing it down a little bit and more saturation in the foreground and trying to get it a little lighter and hazier towards the background. I used a little radial gradient on the top waterfall to bring in some dehaze as well. I forget, honestly, everything I did with it because I played with it a lot before I turned this one. The other key thing, I guess, that I did was I put it on a preset of Fuji 100 for the colors. But I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 different masks on it. So for mostly tweaking exposure and saturation and such.
Are you doing that with a lot of your personal images too?
I've been playing more with it recently than I have in the past. I've got a whole bunch of images from my past that are either scanned from film or other older digital cameras. So I've been having fun going back and re-editing things in Lightroom since I started using that just last year.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that too, gone back to my old images and just seeing what would I do differently, and is it there? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But it's fun doing that comparison. Thank you, Richard. And Richard Clark.
Hear me?
There you go. Yeah.
I don't use Lightroom anymore, and I use a mix of Photoshop elements, and I've started using Luminar Neo. I've got 2 or 3 versions of the Luminars, and that's become my primary editing tool now. And basically, I just did a little bit of gradients at the bottom. I did some gradient at the top, then I added a sunbeam coming through as the morning sun. Pumped up the vibrance, pumped up the color just a little bit, and did a little vignetting, and of course kind of put the hot spot in the center.
Very nice. And you I guess obviously you like Luminar then. You're using it for most of your images now.
I barely ever even open Lightroom anymore. It's quick, it's easy, it's repeatable. I've just got used to using it, and I can just fly through edits now with it.
All right. Dan Rhodes. I don't know if I saw Dan on or not. He's usually on. Are you there, Dan?
Clearly not.
I guess not. But you obviously cropped it. My focus point on that rock. And it looks like he may have blurred the background behind the rock a little bit, the waterfall. Rick, I know you're on.
Adamski.
Yep.
Yep, a little bit. So I'm almost embarrassed to say how little I did with this image. But normally I would take an image like that and do a lot of the same stuff that Mike described and probably come up with a fairly similar result. But I wanted to do something a little wilder and a little darker. And it lent itself to black and white because the contrast in the photo was already so strong. So the first thing I did, I think, was take it over to Nick Silver Effects, and pick a template. And the template is one of the film noir templates that puts a lot of dark trees above.
Lost Rick.
And I softened the touch as much as I could near the starting point, so that there's a little bit of a fade into the blur. Just trying to make it look a little bit less weird. Anyway, that's what I did.
We only heard half of that. Your voice disappeared in the middle of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have stepped away from the microphone.
Well, it's just sitting there attached to the monitor, actually. Well, very quick recap. If can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it again. Basically, this is just a couple of steps. I took it through a template in Nick Silver Effects, sort of a film noir template, brought it back into Lightroom, and then I put it through Photoshop and did a Adamski on the trees, the Adamski technique, and I softened it near where it's nearest the ground, nearest the clear part a little bit, so that it would sort of fade in. And that's it. That's all I did to it.
Very nice. All right, who we got next? Steve Lazard. Steve saw something that nobody else saw, apparently. Steve also messaged me right before the meeting and said that he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I wish he could have been there because I'd like to hear his thinking, but yeah, but this is exactly what I mean by being creative. So I don't know that we have grizzly bears in the North Georgia mountains. We have black bears, but not the grizzly bears. But this one made me chuckle when I saw it. Ludwig, I saw you online.
If I can find the unmute button. Like Rick, I also, when I looked at the original, decided that this was ideal for use with Nick Silver Effects. One of my favorite presets in that package is called Wet Rocks. And obviously these were wet rocks, so it had to work. I worked for about an hour or so and looked at it and decided it was awful. So I decided, well, I have to do something different. Maybe I will do something funny. That rock in the middle there reminded me sort of a human head. I also am bald, so I decided maybe I could make this and put a little bit of myself in it. And when I was all finished, I decided nobody would laugh. So I decided it was a beautiful photograph with gorgeous composition. I will leave that as is. I will go back and start over in color. I like to take a original and pass it through On1 HDR effects, usually for the natural. It enhances the contrast and does a nice job with it as a basis. And I did that and then went into PaintShop Pro and started working with it in different ways. And one of the things that I like to do is to adjust the contrast to bring up the dark areas more. In this photo, I love the mysterious light in the top. And so I took 2 copies of the image and multiplied them in order to bring up, in order to lower the dark portions again from what I had done before. And I finally came up with this, and I decided if I had been there, this is probably what I would have seen. So it can't be all bad. My story.
I think you did a great job
Thank you.
and definitely put a lot of effort in it. All right, who's next? Priya, are you on? I thought I saw you.
That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
She definitely took it in a different direction.
That is cool.
I got to agree. I love what she did.
I mean, they all looked great, but my gosh, like I was not expecting that. Ow.
I imagine that's what it looks like in late October, beginning of November.
That is very cool. There's a workshop in there one.
Priya's
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, I wish she was on to tell us exactly how she did it, because it's more than just colors. I'm looking like it's some sort of composite.
Yeah, she
Oh,
made
It's got to be a composite.
Yeah.
And this sounds like a monthly meeting speaker.
But yeah, she did a great job.
She did a lot. She put some work on that one. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
First step, unmute myself. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, great. I was supposed to be at Spectre Island this evening in over there toward Destin, and I ended up not being able to get my boat ready to go and to join this 120-mile cruise in company. And so I took 20 minutes and edited this. So my logic on this was that the sky is really not that interesting because it was gray and because the highlights are blown out up there in the sky. So the first thing was to just eliminate that. And then I boosted the color temperature up to 7100, which is, about where I like to have color temperature. And that gave me more color in the picture. And what I do, I was able to raise highlights in order to get some of the little tiny bits of the waterfall to be more visible. The mid-range, I was able to, the shadow, I was able to raise up to get some of the detail in the rocks. Then what else did I do? Boosted the vibrance about as far as I could go without blowing anything out. Raised the saturation just a little bit. And then I played with clarity and with dehazing. Everything was done in Lightroom. And yeah, I saw the email about this, and it was about 20 minutes until the time to turn it in. I would like to look at this in my portfolio. Whoops.
Yeah, you froze there for that the last minute, Ben.
Oh, goodness.
We
Well,
heard you spent about 20 minutes on it because you saw the email right before the deadline.
yeah, and the idea is I just took this to what I would like to have in if I had taken the picture under the same conditions. Oh, and I did play with the yellow and the green a little bit.
Okay. Very good. Let's see who's next. Heather.
So I didn't really do much with it, but I turned it a little bit more neutral colored, so it wasn't as green. You did all this in Adobe Photoshop. I made the whites brighter, the darks darker, and then I went in with the dodge and burn tool and kind of did a little bit more contrast. But we almost ended up with Grizzly Bear Part 2 because I tried to put a horse and I spent like an hour on that and it looked like crap. And my husband was like, yeah, I can tell it's Photoshopped. And I'm like, okay, I give up. I quit. So that's what we ended up with right there.
That's okay. You don't know unless you try. Very nice. Doug Bauer, you on? Doug, are you there?
He's not on.
Looks like Doug is not on. But it looks like he went with more of the natural edit also. Right. Michael Amos,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Good. I didn't do a whole lot. I pulled down the sky a little bit. I got rid of all the things that were annoying to me, like that bush that was on the right-hand side that's in everybody's images, and I took out the log that was up on top across the creek. And all I did is dodge and burn and run it through a AI program to get rid of the distortions, and that was it.
You said you used an AI program?
Yeah, the what do you call that thing? It's Topaz.
Okay. There's so many out there now.
Yeah, it's the Topaz that removes denoise. Is what I did.
Okay. Before we go on, has anybody used the denoise in Lightroom? And what's your opinion?
I have. And
I
it's
love it.
pretty cool, but it can be overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
would
done-
say that the denoise is probably just as strong as Topaz's, but it lacks the sharpening capability that Topaz also has baked into their denoise products. So I'm still going to Topaz for now, but it does work.
Yeah, I've used it on a few images. I even used it on some of my St. Augustine images because I was shooting. I had brought my ISO up so I can shoot at a high shutter speed. I don't have Topaz, so I have nothing to compare it to. All I can say is that it's a lot better than what Lightroom used to have. So
I don't like the
far,
scripting. I
I've
think
been
the scripting is horrible.
I've been happy with it so far, but again, I had nothing to compare it with. So, all right, who we
I've
got
used-
next? Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Michael.
I've used it and it seemed to work great. And I don't know if it's just my Lightroom catalog or what, but it seemed to be slow to me on there. Did you find that, Mike?
I've had it where on some images it said 10 seconds, 20 seconds, which is no big deal.
Right.
Then I had other images that said 15 minutes.
Me too. Yeah.
I did not wait.
That's been a
I
pretty
did not.
common
I did not
complaint.
wait 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And I'm
speed's been a
thinking,
common complaint.
yeah, I don't know if it's a Lightroom. I thought maybe it was my computer, but my computer's brand new.
Well, that's what
You
I
know,
thought.
I've rebooted, and then it worked. So I don't know if it's just if your computer's been on for a long time and is using up, stuff, if that causes it, but hopefully Lightroom is aware of, Adobe's aware of that and will fix it. I can only imagine that they'll make it better as time goes on. The masking has been improved. It's some things that can still be improved. But I think with each update, it'll get better. I think the next big update is probably in the fall. It seems like they do 2 big updates during the year and then minor ones each month.
Right.
My son built a gaming computer for me, and it is super fast. So all of these programs run really fast, but it has all the lights and everything inside the clear box.
Mhm.
I said, build me something fast. That's what he did. So
That's
this
the
is-
best way to go if you want a really fast processing computer for photos is to build a gaming computer. That's what I did too.
Yeah, mine is kind of a gaming computer, and it's definitely a lot faster than my laptop. But yeah, I have that issue sometimes with the denoise. I haven't really had any other issues with Lightroom other than that. So, all right, Dick, you're up next.
You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm fiddling with our microphones and how they connect to my computer, so I was wondering. Anyway, when I looked at that original, I thought, I've taken an awful lot of pictures like that myself. But so what I did was first is, excuse me a minute. As somebody previously mentioned, I ran the white balance up to not as far as they did, 6,500 rather than 7,000 something. But then I decided I would take advantage of that funny looking sky and try to turn it into a more moody sort of image. So I added a layer and then took gray brush and just painted in some gray so it would look a little foggier. And then I put a point light up there to be the sun and drew in a beam coming down the waterfall to try to make the center of the image brighter than the sides. I thought about trying to take out that log, but nah, I kind of like it in there actually. And then I realized got a kind of ordinary color palette. So I stuck a couple of daffodils over there on the side just to give it a little bit of punch. I thought about sharpening, but I decided, if it's going to be foggy-ish, misty kind of morning, then you don't want to sharpen. And I tried a number of other things. I thought seriously it'd be a good idea to have an owl come swooping down there, but I couldn't find an image that worked. I did try to put a deer in there. That didn't work. And
You should have looked for a
actually
grizzly bear.
well, no, the one thing Rick Olson will appreciate this at when we were up at where the heck was it? Panther Falls? No. One of the waterfalls. Anyhow, there was a set of figurines on the side, and I thought maybe I would stick that in there, but didn't like that either. I kind of like the way I got it. But it sounds like the misty rainy effect was what was actually about to descend upon the shooter when he was taking the picture. Didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I did was add the frame. I do all my processing with Affinity Photo. I'm using a beta version of 2.1 right now. And it has some interesting foibles.
One
A
thing
lot
I've
of
noticed.
great
Oh, go
takes on
ahead.
this image here. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my bit.
But I was gonna say, one thing I've noticed about the editing challenge this time compared to times in the past, people haven't gone crazy with a lot of the other images. We've had all sorts of things put in there, dinosaurs and Godzilla and the
One of
Flintstones
the
last
yeah.
time.
One of the things I thought about was actually trying to turn the water red, but
Mhm.
couldn't figure out how to do it.
I think maybe it's just this type of image that people felt keep it natural, and so they didn't really put the crazy stuff on there this time. So interesting that that's kind of how it happened this time. I think we have one more image. Lynette, are you on? Lynette was a late entry and I got it in there. That's why it's last. But I guess she didn't make it to the meeting. She thought the deadline was tonight. But I had a chance to throw that in there. So it's like she did some saturation. She blurred the background quite a bit.
You added a whole bunch at the top there too. Boy, that's kind of a cool effect.
Oh yeah, that's a different trees. Yeah. Very nice. All right. Well, that is the last one. So now it's time to announce the winner. So I am going to scroll back to the winner. This one wasn't judged since it was a late entry. Like I said, Tony probably recognized the winning image, but he doesn't know who the person is. So let me scroll back to it. And Doug Bauer had the winning image, and Doug's not online. We should take it away from him. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Well, Tony, since Doug is not here to tell us what he did to the image, tell us why this one was your favorite.
Well, it actually
Oh, wait,
looks.
wait a minute. I goofed. I forgot to show your edited image. Go ahead and tell us about this, and then we'll show your edited image.
Well, it looks more natural as to what I remember seeing, because I mean, anybody that shoots photography knows that when you take the picture and you get back to the computer, you go, well, that's not what I saw. So then you begin to edit. And that's what I remember seeing closer to any of the rest of them that were entered. So that's what I was going for, something that looked more natural to me, to what I remember seeing with my eyes. So that's why I picked it.
All right. Well, I will get in touch with Doug and then get you in touch with him so that you can figure out how to get his prize to him. We won't disqualify him for not being online, but if he watches the video, he's going to hear us talking about him. So, and let's show your edited image. And this is how Tony edited his image. So what did you do with it, Tony? If you remember.
Well, first of all, I always use a linear profile because I use Adobe products mainly. I have just about every software that's available to get, but Adobe's color profiles are seriously heavy-handed, and they ruin an image. So I do not use it. I use a linear profile. There, I cropped in from the top because even though there was some detail to be retained in that sky, it wasn't worth it. And then there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of luminosity mask dodging and burning, even dodging and burning with color, but all of it's done through luminosity mask. I tried to keep the outside edges dark because it was a little dark that day. And I did brighten the center to focus the eyes to the subject. That's about it.
Yeah, very good. Well, Tony, thank you so much for sharing your image. We've been doing this 6 or 7 years now, and we've done a different person's image each time. Already looking forward to next year's, because it's a lot of fun, and definitely an eye-opening experience when it's your image. The first time we did it, it was one of my images. I can't even remember what image it was now. But when you see all these ideas people come up with, some of the really creative ones, but also the ones that just, kind of keep it natural, but explain what they did, you just learn new ideas. I think it's a good educational experience. So thank you, Tony, and thank you for everybody who participated. I will, sometime this weekend, I will put all of these into an album on Facebook so everybody can see them. And if you didn't participate, but you would like to edit a picture, the link is still available on Facebook, or it was in the email I sent out for the meeting. Feel free to edit it and add it to that album. Love to see what other people come up with. Just a second. All right. So I am now going to go and stop the sharing. And we're going to go to our monthly theme. Our monthly theme this month was trees. So Lisa, you should be able to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Yep, better unmute myself. Can you see my screen?
We can see you.
All right. Let's see if I can get my controls here.
Real quick, coincidentally, Lynette just messaged
There
me.
we go.
Thanks. She apologized for missing the meeting. She had to take her granddaughter home, and she just got home. So I'll let her know to watch the video so she can see her picture. All right.
Okay, so our theme this month was trees. And like I said, we have 15 entries this month. The photo challenge is open to anybody that is a paid member. Your image must be less than 2 years old. We don't allow composites for this challenge. And we award points that are accumulated throughout the year. And the person with the most points at the end of the year wins Photographer of the Year. When we vote on photos, we vote for our top 3. So we'll vote for your favorite first, second, and third place. Try not to vote for the same photo more than once. Keep in mind the theme. This month is really easy with trees. And when you're finished voting tonight, you're going to email your top 3 choices to vote@ngaphoto.club. And I will show that email address again at the end of the challenge, so you won't miss it. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll go through the photos 3 times since we've got a little bit of extra time tonight. Get my button going here. And this is number 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 14. 13. 12. 11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. 1 more time, a little faster. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. And 15. Tally up your top 3 and email those to vote@ngaphoto.club. And I will tally the votes and we will post the winners tomorrow on both Facebook pages. And Mike, I will stop sharing and hand it back to you.
Okay, and make sure you send it to vote@ngaphoto.club, not .com. I think somebody put .com in the chat, but it's .club. So, all right, we are almost done. Let's see, where did we leave off? So next month's meeting.
Like what was that? You said the email?
Yeah, the email, ngaphoto.club. What is it, Lisa?
It's vote@ngaphoto.club.
Okay. And we just put the
Not-
numbers in there that we choose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
uh-huh.
the first and then the number, second, then the number, and so on. But only vote for 3, not 5.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Our next meeting will be back at the Bowen. We should be at the Bowen the rest of the year. Be Friday, June 16th at 7 p.m. Our speaker is going to be David Akubian. He's going to be discussing composition. And our photo challenge theme next month is In Motion. And that's all we have tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the editing challenge and for those who participated in the monthly challenge. Get your votes in to Lisa. And we will see everybody in person next month. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Hey, Mike, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So last month I wrote you about Mike Moon possibly doing workshops. Do you know if anyone reached out to him about that?
I don't know. I mentioned it to Timmy. And I don't know if she had a chance to do it or not, because she's been concentrating on the car show that I will have pictures for the next day or two. Her
Gotcha.
students put on a car show, so she's been kind of busy. I will message you. Let me write myself a note because I will forget in 5 minutes.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
the
will
same way. I
message
have a
you.
reminders list. It's 48,
I'll tell you what, this is-
48 things long. So
Mhm.
I have to, yeah.
That's what I tell my customers. I'm the parts specialist, and so customers are always ordering parts from me, and they'll make a special request. I said, let me do this right now or write it down because I am going to forget in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So I'll message you and I'll send you Timmy's contact information, and definitely get that started because we want to have a good program of workshops as we go into the summer.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Heather.
Have a good night. Thank you for everything.
Someone wants to know if you have to be a paid member to vote.
No, you do not have to be a paid member to vote. You only have to be a paid member to submit an image.
Wonder if Carol Bradshaw is still on here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she is. She's still there. Hi, Carol.
She is. Okay,
You can vote.
you can
Your
unmute.
microphone. Turn on your microphone.
Hey,
Hey, Carol.
hey, I didn't mean for my face to show tonight. I'm just sitting there eating, I was sitting there eating sweet potato fries. Anyway, yeah,
And
I didn't think,
nobody's sharing.
I didn't think I had to be a member to vote, but I can't be a member to put in a photo.
Right, right.
Okay,
And that's the main thing. But yeah, you can definitely vote. Anybody who's at the meeting is eligible to vote.
all right.
All right, Barry, you made it. Barry, you're muted. It's the
He must
quietest
have
he's
been
ever
late like
been.
me.
It's the quietest Barry's ever been.
No doubt.
We still can't hear you, Barry. You're muted, Barry. You're muted.
Yeah. I have the power. I think I can unmute him.
Oh, good.
No.
Oh no, it says I have to ask to unmute. That's new. All right, Barry, I think you're unmuted.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I'm gonna mute you again.
Did you make it in time, Barry? Did you make it in
Yes, I
time?
did.
Oh,
I
good.
sure did.
All right, awesome. Hey, I
Yeah.
couldn't send you the link because we were running the meeting, so I asked somebody to send you the link. So glad you could make
No,
it.
what I went back and I looked at what you had posted on there about the link. And then after the number, it has a question mark. And so the
Mhm.
question mark, if you take the question mark out of the link, then it will work.
Because the link works for me, and it's the same link we've been using for like 2 years because it's easier not to change it every month. So that's
Right.
interesting thing.
It was
But
doing.
anyway, it's got a question mark on in there in the
Mhm.
line. And if you take that out and you type in the number and the password, it'll go. So I
Alright.
figured it out. So
All right. Main
anyway,
thing is you made it on.
I enjoyed the meeting and everything.
All right. Well, we will see everybody later. Everybody can go wherever they want to eat tonight, and we'll go back to senior fiestas next month.
Sounds
All right,
good.
good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.